meets community.
All right.
Hello. It's where knowledge meets community right here at the Speak Harmony podcast. And it's yet another Tuesday. Welcome to Caribbean Heritage Month, which it kicked off on the 1st. So every year at this time, that's what we do. So guys, I just want to say big ups as usual to our amazing sponsors, APAT Media. APAT Media is an amazing place where you can get your podcasting done, your multi-camera recordings, you name it in that space, they do it. They cover it all. Movies, documentaries, the whole 9 yards. So you can contact them at info@apapmedia.com. That's info@apapmedia.com. So we just want to shout out Mr. P and his amazing son, Damien. They are the stars behind us that make us sound good, look good, and feel good every week right here at APAT Media.
That's right.
So as usual, we say big ups.
Big ups.
And welcome.
Yes.
So now, Sharon, what's the day? What day is it?
So there are a couple. I'm going to talk about, I've just decided, family, to talk about changing from the day, since it's usually the evening, to the week. What is the week of, and what is the day for tomorrow, so that you can prepare for tomorrow. So we're going to talk about that. But before we kick off, people like to know what we've done over the weekend, what you've been shaking and moving and grooving.
I can't talk too much about what I did this week.
Oh, you was a naughty girl.
No, I wasn't, but I was in some places where...
Naughty girl.
Some political spaces, so I don't talk much about that. We just have to make some changes around us, so we have to be involved in the decision-making process.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Sunday, I was at a specific space where... Let's just see, we can say that we are praying that God will just smile on us, and we have to be united as a people to make sure that we go out and vote and we hold our elected officials accountable.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So we have to be involved. You know how people say, well, they're not doing anything for me, and I'm like, guys, who's not doing anything for you? You're not doing it for you and the generations that come after you if you don't participate.
That's right.
That privilege.
And there are things that you can do beforehand so that you can know your candidates.
Oh,
absolutely. So you know who you're going to speak with, right?
Yes.
And there's also a runoff on June 7th as well in DeKalb County. I know that there's a runoff.
A couple of runoffs all over the place, and we
so
just have to
be aware. Thanks for
out.
sharing that, Sharon.
Yes.
Over the weekend, I had the opportunity to address the Alpha Kappa Alpha, the chapter in Georgia. It's chapter in Decatur or DeKalb, and they talk about emotional and mental health. And so we had a wonderful discussion and Q&A. I was one of 3 panelists, and just really spreading the word and wonderful questions about mental health and how they can cope with it. And so we talked a lot about between what mental health is, what mental illness is, what emotional health is, and how to regulate emotions. So that's what I did over the weekend. Good turnout, really fun.
Yes.
I remember one of the doctor's name, and I don't remember the other one, so I won't call them out, but big up, you know who you are. So let's go quickly into the week. It is Community Health Improvement. And this happens the first week in June, and it honors health professionals, both in the hospital settings and those who work more closely with the community. So listen, if you know a healthcare professional, tell them that you appreciate their work.
Yes.
And how, especially those that work in the communities. And it's also a week that is near and dear to my heart because it is National CPR and AED Awareness. And AED stands for Automated External Defibrillator. And a quick little fun fact, did you know that Georgia was the first one to have these AEDs in the airport? And so if you look around, just the AEDs look like, in a case, just like the fire extinguishers.
Yes.
And it's so simple to use. All you have to do is know how to turn it on. It has a universal power sign, turn it on. And the second thing is listen. So if you know someone who's having a heart attack, that is one of the things when they call for help, you run and go get the AED. So be observant and look around and know when you're going in these big places, even these mega churches, these supermarkets. It's still sports season, so they're there, and they should be near the soccer fields and tennis and so forth. So big up to my training center, Atlanta Technical College, for help spreading the word of CPR awareness. It's this whole week, the 1st through the 7th. And I kind of put in this one because it is, you asked about the day, Sharon, but I left this one for last because it's near and dear to our producer. It is World Bicycle Day.
Oh.
Yes, and the United Nations declared this in 2018. And it really helps, is a sustainable means of transportation, right? Yeah. And it helps to promote health, right? And great for the environment. And so, it's been happening, and we've been doing this for more than 2 centuries. But I am also going to big up, in Jamaica, they recognize it in October, and it's called Ride Your Bike Jamaica in Kingston to Negril. So you see, I had to put a little accent on that. Ride Your Bike Jamaica. All right. And that is a Sunday, typically October 18th. Oh, boy. Okay, Miss Libra. And so check that out if you have the opportunity. See, we're giving you this advance notice, all right? So get healthy, save the environment, and compete.
They ride the entire island.
From
Kingston to Negril.
Negril. Watch there.
From Kingston to Negril. And Mr. P covers that. APAT Media. Big up.
He covers that, What is that, about 52 miles from one end to the other?
Girlfriend, no ma'am. No ma'am.
How much is that?
No ma'am, that's a whole lot of.
58? 158. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because there's the highway.
New highway. Beg your pardon.
Yes.
All right. So, Sharon, we just have another wonderful guest. Go ahead.
Yes. We are excited. We're blessed. We're honored to have this amazing lady in the studio with us. And we just want to say thank you for all our guests, in-studio guests.
Yes.
Thank you for taking time out to come in and join us. We appreciate
we have
you
4
all.
in the house.
Absolutely, yes.
You are a Speak Harmony family who is looking out there virtually. You are also welcome.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us every week from 7 to 8. Like, subscribe, and share. And just share with everyone, because what we're about to talk about this evening with this lady is amazing. Yesterday, as we said, the 1st of June kicks off Caribbean Heritage Month. And Monica Foderingham, guys, learn to pronounce her name, try to spell it. It sounds crazy, but it's not as hard as it looks.
Yes, it's phonetic, yes.
It really is. She's been a librarian, Sharon, for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Like where? But they say don't crack, but that's proof right there. She discovered her passion, by the way, for Caribbean cultural programming in 2008 at the Atlanta Fulton Library, Public Library, where she began her career. English, Spanish, French, Dutch, Caribbean. Sister dear, she's putting me to shame. I thought I knew a little bit of Espanol, but she knows all these languages. But in 2014,
is it languages? You just from those?
You just dabble.
I just dabble, and I like to make sure people know that the Caribbean is not just, first of all, not just Jamaica, and it's not just English speaking.
Yes, there you go.
And so let me tell you the other part. She's part Jamaican, born in Jamaica, right? Mm-hmm. But her Bayesian father is right in the mix. Mm-hmm. You better not forget that part, because when I met her first, girlfriend, I made that error. And I was checked. So she's Jamaican, Barbadian. Okay? So you have done operated in this whole space where it says you've been the Caribbean Story Time. You've done that Caribbean Story Time. Mm-hmm. And in 2017, you started your African Film and Filmmakers series to widen your curating and your repertoire. I'm not going to bore you guys anymore, because she's a reader. She's an avid reader. She travels a lot. She does the documentary thing. And so, let me say this part. she spearheaded a senior citizens oral history project at her church. That's what she spearheads. And this is where that documentary bug bit. You've done the most, sisters. I'm going to let you tell your story, but I know there's a little thing about a Jude the dog who came to the library.
Oh, so much fun. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So we are going to introduce to some and to others, just reintroduce them. Monica Foderingham, welcome to Speak Harmony. We love having you here, sister.
Thank you.
You're no stranger here.
That's right.
Thank
This
you,
is your
Sharon.
second time coming here, right?
I think it was 2 years
2 years
ago.
ago.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Last year. You were here not too long ago.
Oh, okay. Time flies.
So welcome. So
Tell us about Jude.
let's get
About
Jude
Jude?
the dog. Yes, tell us about that.
Jude was my second rescue dog. And when just Jude's story, I knew I had to tell it. I walked around with that story in my head for months before I put it pen to paper or fingers to keyboard. I had to tell his story. He just came to us. My daughter actually said that morning, she said to me, she was getting ready to go back to college, and she said, Mommy, you know, if you're going to get a second dog, we really need to start working on it now. And that day at work, I was looking out into the parking lot, and I saw this, what looked like a family with their dog. So I said, oh, you have a nice dog. I said, he doesn't belong to us. And at that time, it was the second stray dog we had had. So we knew to call animal control. Two of my colleagues went out, got some food, and we kept him hidden in a back room, and we called animal control to come for him. Wow. What I remembered was Jude never made one sound while he was in there. They gave him some food, animal control came for him, and I just remember saying, bye, doggy, bye, doggy. And I couldn't get him out of my mind. So I said to my daughter, Jordan, then, this was like about a week later, I said, I'm going to give it a week, and I'm going to check on him. And if nobody has adopted him, we're going to go get him. Well, once I planted that seed in my own head, I couldn't even wait on my own timeline. I wanted to go and get him right away. Yeah. And the rest, as they say, is history. Jude immediately came and just took over. And fast forward, he was just a part, everybody just, Jude, he just completely took over the house. So he got the book, even though he was the second dog. You know, he just pushed my other dog, Jackson, to the background in a nice way. But I now know why Jude got the book, because Jude was not going to be with us for long. We had him for 6 years before he died of lymphoma. It was the evening of right in the middle of the Caribbean Film Festival 2 years ago. I came home and saw his face just horribly misshapen. And I just called my daughter screaming on the phone, there's something wrong with Jude, there's something wrong with Jude. And we had to take him to the emergency room and the hospital and everything that night. And they told us that he very likely has lymphoma and a few months to live. And I was just in shock. And that started off a journey. They said he had at most 3 months. Well, he lasted 4.5 months. And I made the hardest decision I ever had to make, which was to put him down. Yeah. My friend, who is a vet, came to the house and actually did it for me. And afterwards, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. And the next day, I didn't venture out of the house that day. The next day I went to Publix, and then one of the first things I saw was this woman wearing a St. Jude T-shirt. Wow! And that just started the waterworks. I could not. I said, you know, I had a dog named Jude, and I just put him down yesterday, and you know, but this story lives on. Yeah. And Jude's book just went to Senegal. Jamaica, Barbados, the UK, Bahamas, are the places I know it has been. So Jude's story lives on, even though he was just with us for a short time. But I have become an animal rescue advocate. And here is what I do. I only adopt black dogs. Because black dogs and black cats are not readily adopted in shelters. So I have I have Jackson. Jackson's going strong at almost 13 years old.
Oh, wow. He's old.
Yes, but he is still solid. And I have a new dog which I adopted last September. His name is Jet. He is a work in progress, I'll say kindly. He's more like a hot mess.
Adapting, yes.
Yes.
Did you say a hot mess?
Yeah, when
Poor
he
Jack.
learns something, but it's not easy. When I took him for a consultation with a trainer, the trainer says he never learned how to learn. So
Wow.
I'm working on that with him.
He never learned.
He never learned how to learn.
Interesting.
But he, with the help of treats, he's picking that up. He's learning very quickly with the help
Here's your
of
book.
treats.
You have a book?
Yes, here is Jude's book.
Okay.
And yes, and it's just the story of my second rescue dog. And I just want to say, I have become a pet rescue advocate, a dog rescue advocate, if you will. And people might say, oh, I can't adopt a dog. I'm gone from home all day. So am I. I've been gone from home all the 12 years I've had Jackson and all the times I've had my other dogs. I have had to work. But I know they are happier in a warm, comfortable home with stable meals than being out on the street.
Yeah.
And and they figure it out. They figure it out. And so I encourage people, don't shop, adopt. The shelters are overflowing with animals. And Lifeline, where I adopted my dogs from, they used to be a no-kill shelter, but that had to change simply because
People
they are
weren't
bursting
adopting.
at the seams.
Yes,
So just follow their website. Every now and then there's like a clear the shelters time where there are no fees. They're just begging people to adopt.
Yeah.
And my dogs are part of my family.
Yeah.
They are part of my family. So I encourage anybody else who can to bring that love into their life.
Yeah. I wanted her to share that story, Sharon, because it just shows her heart.
It does.
And it
does.
also shows, how important it is that, these are animals, these are people too.
Yes, yes.
They're part of the family.
They are part of the family, yeah.
And they're amazing.
Yes.
Animals are very intuitive. Because I don't have any now, but I grew up with dogs. I grew up with animals, actually. Cats and dogs and everything. And I've said several times I've had to learn more about psychology from dealing with 3 dogs and from dealing with 3 human children.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow. So, man, that was a nice start. So growing up in Jamaica, Madame Foderingham, what experiences you would say shaped your love for books and storytelling? Because you
can tell a story.
You're quite the storyteller. What shaped that?
So, I grew up with 4 siblings. I'm the oldest. But my formative years were spent in Maypen, Clarendon. Every Saturday, I used to walk to the public library. Now, at that time, with your library card, you could only check out 1 book at a time. So I just gathered up my siblings' library cards to check out, that I could check out more than, because let's just say not all of them enjoyed reading as much as I did. And I just liked from that point reading about the world, far-flung places. And I always say my favorite book growing up in that hot Maypen weather was reading about Heidi in Switzerland and eating bread and cheese with her grandfather. And one of my girlfriends here, she's from Grenada. She had that same experience. Heidi was her favorite book growing up,
Really?
too. Yes. So, that shaped my my just love of other places. And
How old were you though when you?
I would say about 10. Now, when I went to high school at 11, 12, the upper class geography book was titled Caribbean Lands. I didn't have any business reading that book as an underclassman, but I did. I devoured it right away because I wanted to learn more about the Caribbean, because my father was from another country, and I just had this fascination with it. So I read the book cover to cover when I was in first form, or what Americans would understand as seventh grade.
Wow.
Middle
You
school.
know, so I've always had this fascination with the Caribbean. My father took us to Barbados as, I was 15 when I visited my first time. And I've just had this fascination with people who look like me, but are speaking different languages in many cases, from the
That's
French
right.
Caribbean, the Dutch Caribbean, the Spanish Caribbean. I have a children's book here. I have it in English and in Spanish, because in previous years for Caribbean Storytime, I've had stories read in French Creole. One of my young people that has been in my life, she's Haitian American. She went to Howard University and studied French Creole while studying to be a pharmacist. And she was able to read, to do story time for me in French Creole. It's very important for me to let people know that the Caribbean is not a monolith.
Yeah.
We are so different. We look alike.
Yes.
We look alike.
So true.
Yeah, I had an experience the last cruise I went on. It was an MSC cruise, and they deal with a mostly European clientele. I had to go to Martinique to get on that cruise. I didn't have to, but I wanted to, because I wanted to go to the French Caribbean. So all these people looking just like me, but they're speaking mostly French.
French, yeah.
So I would get on I'd get on the elevator, bonjour, bonjour, and they're bonjouring and starting. That's all I got.
Nothing else.
That's
Yeah,
all I got. But, on that same cruise also, I went to the Grenadines island of Bequia. And one of the guys who was helping on the boat said, "Which French Caribbean island are you from?" So I said, "No, I'm from Jamaica." He said, "Oh, Yardie."
They know us. They know us.
Help you out.
Yes.
Right in Bequia, he
Yes.
called me Yardie, so
And
with
that's
the
how-
proper
yeah.
accent and all.
That's how far we travel. And people from Guyana, South America, right next to Venezuela, they're one of the only
English speaking.
there,
Yeah.
and they kind of call themselves West Indians too,
Yeah,
or
they're-
part of the Caribbean.
They're ethnically,
Yeah.
Caribbean, Guyana and Suriname and even
Suriname,
French
yes.
Guyana.
Yes.
Yes.
What fascinated me was I have a St. Lucian friend, and she talks all the time about going to Cayenne, which is the capital of French Guyana. And so, because St. Lucia has been French at different times in its history, they travel back and forth to French Guyana. Suriname, they have a lot of Indians there.
Indians there,
So you
yeah.
find a lot of roti there, as I am learning. So it's just so many things to be
Fascinating.
fascinating,
It really is.
fascinated with.
Because I had a friend in New York, same thing. She was from, St. Martin. And one parent was from the Dutch side and one parent was from the French side. And she spoke both languages as well as English. So Nadine, I was like, wow.
St. Martin. I couldn't wait to go there because I wanted to see that interplay.
Yeah.
This small island, 30-something square miles, and it's so different. You're just driving, and now you're in the French side and the Dutch side and everything. So I was just fascinated by that. Plus, because of the French influence, their cuisine is a fusion of the French high cuisine and Caribbean cuisine. I also had a little scary experience there in St. Martin. I sat down to have my breakfast at my resort, and the sea was just right by the side of the sea. And I sat down, and it was a Sunday morning. I'm logging on for church, and I'm waiting for my breakfast to come. I'm like, this is living. And I saw a young couple get up and go inside. So I said, well, some people just don't know how to enjoy themselves. All of a sudden, what comes running towards me but an iguana?
Oh.
I screamed. I'm sure people thought there was a murder being committed. the resort. So I went in and I saw the young couple laughing at me.
Yeah.
I said, did you see the iguana? She said, yes, there were 4 of them.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would be sitting out there with 4
I
of them.
never sat out there again.
Yeah.
I stayed inside the bistro for the rest of
Don't
the
go
time.
to Florida.
No, I've already decided that.
Really?
Girl,
Yeah.
I love Florida, but let me tell you something.
I hear they're so big down there.
Oh, they
too.
are.
They
They're
are.
enormous. And then they have attitudes because they look at you when you look at them and they're like, and I'm like,
I see, I don't need all of that.
I've done the boat ride and seen them and waved to them.
oh,
In Mexico, they know to keep to themselves, but in these other places, no.
Well, that's because maybe we're not as kind to them as
Right,
they are. You know?
right. And people feed them.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Shouldn't feed them, yeah.
And so they're expecting to
True,
be fed.
true.
So that's
Yeah.
why I had my
domesticated.
run-in with that.
so they wanted a
iguana.
piece of your fried whatever you were eating.
Yes.
So with all your travel, this is where a lot of your stories are coming
Yes.
from. When you were going to school and embarking and becoming a librarian, was there one that kind of influenced you?
Like what?
Like a librarian, a teacher, family that really made you think, oh, I think I'm going to be a librarian.
You know, actually, my father, I wanted to go into politics. And my father said, no, you're going to be a librarian. And
Really?
I thought to myself, well, if you think I'm going to be a librarian, I'm not
That's
going
gonna
to be a librarian. And look where I am now.
30 years,
30 years. But, you know, I was that.
saw it in you.
Yeah, that nerdy little kid who, you know, like looking up stuff and loved information and trivia. You know, I was on Schools Challenge quiz team in high school in Glenmuir, at Glenmuir High School, just
The
coming
Glenmuir
back.
High School in
The
Glenmuir.
Glenmuir High School, yes, just coming back from my 50th high school reunion.
Oh,
A
wow.
blast, by the way.
Of
Wow.
course.
But I loved information. I loved looking for information. And yes, so I think librarianship found me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking to wind down now. I'm hoping to retire before the year is out.
When? How?
So October or November. I'm just going to, after June is done, I'm just going to look at my dates and everything to decide on a set date to retire.
We got to see.
And
that.
you're going to travel and write.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know in what order.
Yes.
But yes, I am going to write. I have a whole project set
I
to
figured
write
you
about.
did, yes.
Yeah, my father's own story. You know, the story of his shipwreck. He was shipwrecked when he was a young sailor. And of a crew of 42 crew members, 20 died. Only one body was ever recovered. That was off the coast between Trinidad and Venezuela. This story came back to my father's family in Barbados that he had died. And so that happened, that affected this one small island of 166 square miles, lost several men in that disaster. But the story is unknown there. So I have been lucky to meet the final survivor of the shipwreck. I met him a few years ago, and his story largely mirrors the few things my father told about it. He did not want to talk about it. We now know that as trauma. So I am looking to bring his story to book form or to film form, or both. And my middle daughter, Jackie, says she is committed to working with me on that. You know, so I just really want to explore this story more. And I want to get a memorial also in Barbados to these men who died.
Oh, they don't have one.
Died in the shipwreck. And people like my father who got nothing after this trauma. And I think what Mr. Downs, the last survivor, said was they got a shirt and a pair of shoes and whatever pay they had been owed, you know, for that voyage or whatever, maybe not even for the whole voyage. And some of them went back to sea. My father didn't. He dedicated his life to the Lord after that, and he came to Jamaica on a limited time mission trip. and met my mother there.
Aw.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
And there came Monica in the rest.
Right,
Yes.
part of it
Crew.
to continue the
Yes.
story. And that's what we call legacy.
Yes.
Yes, and sharing in the community. So, yeah,
Yeah, so
we're
tell
thankful.
me something. What kind of misconceptions would you say people have about libraries and librarians? Because just, was it last week or the week before? Excuse me. I met a young lady not too far from here, just passing by, Jamaican lady from St. Catherine, right? And I saw the flag in the car, in the boxing gloves, and I was like, hey, Yachty. Because we identify each other, right? And so I got into a conversation, and it broke my heart. She said she works at the school, not too far from here, and that they were dumping books. They were getting rid of books.
What?
I literally just met her, and I was about to break down, just fall apart in front of her.
Dumping, like putting them in the garbage?
They were getting rid of books. And when she said to me, in her Jamaican accent, she says, I know them have dictionaries and everything, and I'm just going to dash them away. And I said, what? So for those of you who don't know, throw them, discard them, get rid of them. And I was like, what's your number? Give me your number, because I have to do something about this. So I made a phone call. And so we're still kind of sort of working through it, because I told her, I says, I hope my husband's not watching, but I'm going to put them in the back of my car and take them home until I can get them to read Africa, I think it is, or get it somewhere. But I know I can talk to you more about that, and we'll talk off air what we're going to do
Right.
about that, because it broke my heart.
Yeah.
I know
So-
there's technology, but give me get rid of
So,
books.
you know, it's a sad part, but we do have to discard books for different reasons. For example, just today, one of my colleagues was telling me that we've had to quarantine our book drop, where people just come and return books
Yeah.
when they don't want to come in.
Right.
Why are they doing that? Because there is an infestation.
Yeah.
And they cannot allow those books to get with other things, or else it will
Yeah,
spread.
spread, yeah.
Got you, yes.
Yes, so there are reasons for discarding books, but we are very sustainable. So when I am discarding books, for example, you know, reference books from my department or whatever like that, we mostly give them to our friends of the library. And the Friends of the Library, and most branches do this, the Friends of the Library has a big book sale like twice a year. People are lining up from early in the morning to
those
come and
books.
get our
Absolutely.
books. I found books, like obscure books about Jamaica, in their book sale collection. I'm like, where did y'all get this book from? So, you know, so we try to be sustainable, but also, you know, sometimes books carry outdated information.
This is true,
That's
yes.
so
For
true.
example,
That's
you
so
don't
true.
want a book about the internet that was written in 1980.
Absolutely.
you
Right,
know?
right.
So yes,
Okay.
that would
Yeah,
have to
that
be
makes
That I
sense.
can
discarded.
understand.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
dictionary, she said. And when she said dictionary,
Dictionaries are different, you know, stuff doesn't change. So there may be some other reason for it. But most libraries have Friends of the Library groups that sell these items at a reduced cost.
Correct.
And then that money goes
fundraiser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fundraiser. That money goes for programming at the library.
It's so funny that we're talking about this because just last week I was at the library and I bought a hardcover book. It was 2026 and paid $1 for the hardcover
Yeah.
book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I didn't think about that. Thank you for sharing that.
We're
Yeah.
gonna go on.
You mentioned voting up front. We just give so much information. And one thing I'd like to say, just go to any library and ask for My Voter page, or you can look it up online.
Yeah.
And you can see your whole voting record, where to vote, who to vote for, and everything. So, and most importantly, it makes sure that you are still registered to vote.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
So My Voter page, MVP.
All right.
Thank you for that bit of information. So we're about to take a break, and when we get back, we're going to dive a little deeper into Madame Foderingham's storytelling.
I'm proud of how you pronounce that name. It just rolls off your tongue. Go ahead.
No fancier than it is.
I'm just Monica. I've known her for years, and I'm
Monica
still just
is
Monica.
fine, yes.
Okay, so when we get right back, we're going to dive a little deeper. So, here we go.
This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, APAP Media Group. APAP Media Group is a full-service creative video and photo production company specializing in podcasting, multi-camera recording, and live streaming. Contact them by email at info@apapmedia.com. That's info@apapmedia.com. Thank you to our sponsor, APAP Media Group.
Welcome back. And we've got a busy, busy state here. Let me tell you, everything we say Atlanta, but it's really, we talk about the state of Georgia. It's just what we do, right? So we've got so much going on. And this Caribbean Heritage Month
It's packed. Packed.
It's jam-packed. Jam-packed. So yesterday we kicked off June 1st with Inspired Voices. So if you didn't catch it, you missed a good one, okay? We had our own tenor, Mr. Steve Higgins. There was retired U.S. Navy Captain Janice Smith. We had Joshua Williams, the Tennessee Titans. We had Honorable Barbara Feinstein, Deputy Assistant Secretary from the State Department. We had H.E. Albert Ramden, the Secretary General. We had a whole plethora of people on that chat yesterday, 12-1. Amazing. You missed a good one if you missed it. We've got some other stuff rolling here, and we've got our own Sharon here, the Heart Lady, coming up this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
She's got some stuff going on.
Thursday.
The Health Forum. Oh, it is the 4th.
Thursday,
It's
yeah.
the 4th. It's the 4th from 5 to 9 p.m. And it's going to be held at, it says, you've got to text. There's a number to text, and it's right there on the screen, and I'll share it with you. It's 725-306-2477 to RSVP, and you will get the address when you do that. So make sure you go ahead and text to that number. So it's the Health Forum on June 4th, 5 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, we're
And-
talking about mental health
Yes.
and emotional health. And there's
Awesome.
going to be other vendors and speakers there. So wonderful
Yes.
event. Thank you for
And
that.
so, of course, and then we have Community Restore, which is a nonprofit organization based between the U.S. Virgin Islands and the state of Georgia. And this particular Community Restore, what they started out doing was helping victims of domestic violence. It was women in construction. And so they would help, assist seniors and these ladies to sort of get on their feet, help them with stuff around the house, building, just a little bit of fixer-uppers and stuff. So they would help them to do that. And they have a huge program for the underserved back in the U.S. Virgin Islands. But the founder, Esther Blyden, brought it here to Georgia. So they've been, on and off, because last year was a different kind of year. But they started yesterday. They kicked it off yesterday right down the street on East Park Place at Tread Educational Services. They're the sponsor. They're hosting them. So, guys, look up Community Restore. It's only $10 a day. They get a breakfast and, they get a good lunch. And they've got career-oriented professionals coming in, giving back to these students. And that's Community Restore. Yeah. We've got a little bit more going here. We've got our Independence Ball. We can't stop. You've got to save the date, guys. It's August 8th, Jamaica's Independence. And we've got Sonia Richards-Ross, who's going to be our keynote speaker. It's going to be held at the Evergreen Hotel at Stone Mountain Park. Guys, put it on your calendar. Tickets are going, but we've got the early bird tickets. So you can get a table and save a couple of dollars, or it's $135 per ticket up until June 30th. So get your tickets, mark it, and get your tickets, because this is going to be an amazing time. So let's get back to the lady of the hour.
Monica.
Back to Monica.
So, you yourself have created several Caribbean-focused educational and cultural programs. And why was that so important to you?
Well, I just started doing it because that was my job. So, I'm a very practical person. If I'm going to do something, I'm not just going to, it has to make sense to me,
Okay.
and it has to be helpful to others. And so I figured, why not do something that I love? Show the Caribbean region in all its diversity, to an audience of Americans, just in various different programs. So I started out with the films, and in the film festival or the film series since 2008, I would say I have screened about, it should be in the region of 70 films,
Wow.
and they reflect the English, Spanish, French, and Dutch Caribbean, and also with Hindi thrown in. I screened The Mystic Monsieur from Trinidad and Tobago a few years ago. But I'm passionate about showing the Caribbean in all its diversity. I am Jamaican, born and raised. Well, again, but with a Barbadian father, I have no problem saying that the Caribbean is not just Jamaica.
Yes.
People know Jerk Chicken, Usain Bolt, and Bob Marley. Those are the three examples I use. But of course, now we have the Honorable Rihanna from Barbados.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
people,
Yes.
but the Caribbean is very diverse linguistically,
Yes.
culturally, but we have a lot of similarities.
We do.
And I just love showcasing the Caribbean through films because educating and entertaining simultaneously. The spelling bee, I know you have a special heart for
Yes,
that.
yes.
And I think the three of us were like little nerds growing up in the
We were.
Caribbean.
Yes, ma'am.
That, hands down, is my favorite program because you have these little kids learning these words, and they don't have to be Caribbean, and they have learned these words and these meanings. And one year, I remember I had a friend who was the announcer, and she mistakenly thought she had finished the list. And the little boy who was the eventual winner, he said, no. You haven't said this, you haven't said this, you haven't said this, and you haven't said this. And she had
Leave
to
it to a
realize,
child.
yes,
Leave it to a
because
child.
Leave it, right?
they had it down. And one of my previous winners, he just graduated from Fort Valley State and is going on to
Congratulations.
UNLV to do his
Love it.
PhD in
Wow,
math.
look at that.
Shout out to Willoughby Kane.
Shout
Yes,
out.
shout
Big
out,
up,
Willie.
big up.
Wow.
Very proud of him. Very proud of all the
Yes.
kids. And a parent brought his two daughters who are past winners. He brought them to see me yesterday with the little son who is just going into second grade, who wants to be in the spelling bee too.
Oh, I love it.
So tell
I
us
love
when
it.
this. I've been to quite a few, right? My husband and I have been quite a few of the film fests. It's so diverse and so much fun.
is.
It's storytelling, it's educating, it's history. Love it. So if you have the opportunity, tell us when we can
Yeah,
see that.
well,
on-
first of all, everything is free and open to everyone.
That's right.
That's how I
That's
take my
opportunity for
public
free.
library
Yes.
Yeah.
ethos with me.
Yeah.
So the films this year are going to focus on the indigenous peoples of the Caribbean.
Thank you.
So I will have films from St. Vincent. First time I'm having a film from St. Vincent. One from Dominica about the Kalinago. No, from Dominica.
Not Dominican
the
Republic.
Dominican
Right.
Republic.
Dominica.
Dominica,
I
the
like that.
nature island. It's
Yes.
about the Kalinago. Their indigenous people still live there. And I saw them, and I went to visit a village in person. And it was a revelation. I see why they call it the nature island. I took a picture. I still have that picture on my phone. And I said to myself, that must be what heaven looks like. It is
wow.
so beautiful,
Beautiful.
that picture I took. So, and they had a cooking demonstration for us. They were making these cassava flatbreads. And when I tasted it, I said, this
Bammy.
is Bammy. It's Bammy.
See?
That
Yeah.
we call Bammy
Bammy.
in Jamaica.
What does it say? It says we're one Caribbean separated by water.
Water.
And if we could just grasp a hold, just get a hold of that
right.
concept,
Yes.
we would not have the division in the wards that we have that
now.
you're Jamaican, you're Bajan,
Right.
and you're this and you're that. We're just one people.
right.
And that is actually, so, this is the 20th anniversary of Caribbean American Heritage Month.
Yes.
And that is our theme for our Georgia celebration, One Caribbean. I have so many pictures that I've taken with the Caribbean Sea in the background because that is what makes us Caribbean,
Yeah.
the Caribbean Sea. So I have a Quantu about the Maroons of Jamaica. I have a film about the Maroons of Suriname. And
Really?
the Garifuna indigenous people in Belize. And that's going to be on Saturday, June 20th at the Metropolitan Library, just off 7585.
And you've got it
So
there,
the
guys.
20th.
Yes.
And just a word about film. So these films, I can't just take them off a shelf or just show. I have to pay licensing. So, sponsorship is always needed to help with licensing. I'm covering that myself this year because I got started late, but I'm going to cover it. But yes, so licensing, and also please support filmmakers.
Yes.
There's no Caribbean Hollywood, but we need big money people in the Caribbean, and they exist.
They do.
They do.
To
They
put
do.
their money and their
do.
strength behind films. There are 2 films right now in Jamaica that I want to see made, especially one about the Kendall crash. It's ready to go. She just needs the money. And the Kendall crash was the biggest tragedy ever in Jamaica's history.
Yeah.
So, we need the Digicells. Juicy, my alumna brother, Juicy
Call them out.
Mattis.
That's
Call
right.
them,
Call one of them out.
Everybody, and when you give money to help produce a film, you get
You're preserving our heritage,
but
though,
you
our
get
stuff. You
producer
produce-
credit.
Yes.
You get producer
Producer-
credit. Yes. So if you give,
Okay.
so little known fact,
Yes.
they can offer you producer credit. So
Interesting.
producer Dr. Sharon Reid, Monica Foderingham, Sharon Thompson.
Really?
So yes, we need.
Yes.
I enjoy
All right.
begging, so
All
I'm
right.
going to start begging.
Yes. So
Yes.
and then now the spelling bee, which I spoke about, and again I have words in English, Spanish, French, Dutch, and Hindi. My first year,
Amazing.
when the word was Saint Martin, and the eventual winner, I said, your word, Javon, is Saint Martin. And little boy looked at me straight in the eye and said, do you want the French spelling or the Dutch spelling?
Okay, I love it. I love it.
And I said, both. So, of course, he eventually won, but he was ready.
Of course.
He was ready. And these
How
kids
old was he?
He would have been about 10, 11 that time.
I love it.
So they are serious. And and a word here. Do you see the Indian Americans, how they excel in the spelling bee?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is not by accident. That is not by accident. There's a whole infrastructure of Indian spelling bee competition. Okay,
Really?
so they are prepared beforehand. So I say, why not us? And fun fact, and I feel very comfortable saying this, there is no other Caribbean spelling bee in the world. If there was, I would know about it.
I'm sure.
So
Big up to you.
Big up to you.
but that's to show
Wow.
that we really should use
yes.
this.
Push it.
Yes.
And good news, I got a very generous sponsorship donation this year, so I am doubling the prize money for the
Oh, I
spelling
love
bee.
it.
So winner will get
So
$200
sponsors-
and a trophy. Second place, $100 and a trophy. Third place, $50 and a trophy. And if we run out the list of words that they have been studying, I have a list of secret words. And if we have to go into that list, I'm going to add to the prize money of the remaining kids.
So sponsors,
Sponsors.
you hear
That's
it.
Yes.
right.
right here. You heard it right here on Speak Harmony.
It's like
Yeah.
We need you.
Yeah.
We definitely need you. And
Please.
people, they can go back and watch
Yes.
this
Only
and find
one.
out
So yeah, we need to spread the word.
But why should kids have all the fun?
Tell us.
That's
I
right.
have the Caribbean Quiz Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Last time how it
You
worked.
founded all these initiatives.
Yes.
So let us big you up, really
That's
big you up
what
in
I
the
did.
biggest
was
way.
just-
Because just like the Caribbean Film Festival, the Caribbean Spelling Bee, the Caribbean Quiz Bowl, who
right.
does all this? Started right here with our sisters. So we're so privileged.
I think I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, just
So
a way
it's-
to, and you get prizes too and everything.
Yeah.
And what
Yes.
happened last time? Parents and guardians or the grown-ups who brought the children for the spelling bee, they
Participated.
ended up staying and participating in the quiz bowl
course.
and leaving with prizes and trophies. Too.
Done deal.
There you
That's on
go.
my
So, you know,
calendar.
I've covered all the bases. And so just contact me at Diaspora Cultural Curators, my organization, to get the information, to get the application, the registration form and everything. But we start this Saturday with the Caribbean Literary Parlor, where you can talk about your favorite Caribbean book, your favorite Caribbean author, or read an excerpt from that book. And I'm basically going to talk about children's books because I really love children's books. And my daughter, Janelle, out in LA with her goddaughter, Xenia, she makes sure, Xenia is Jamaican American and she's 5. And she makes sure, Janelle makes sure to get her Caribbean picture books to read, you know, to be in her reading repertoire. And so I have some here. So I'll also have a Caribbean story time before the spelling bee.
And Sharon,
And you know,
did we have
I was just about to say
yeah.
that you know, what you just said. Tiffany Ivy, her daughter was here a few months ago. She was here recently. We've got 2 authors.
Really?
Well, yeah, we had that day. And let me tell
wrote
you.
her book. How old? A young girl?
She's only 9 years
9 years
old.
old, yeah.
She's only 9 years old. But let me tell you, she wrote about her trip to Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Okay.
She just told her mom, I wanted to do it. And her mom supported her, you know, supported her. And
I'd
she
like to
sat-
meet her.
Oh, you
Yes,
will.
we'll
Oh, you said it and I said,
definitely connect it.
my, my wheels turned already. I already did that. She was supposed to be here, but she couldn't make it. But girl, that's already a done
Yes,
deal.
I'd really love to meet
But
her.
I want to ask you though, because you know, I have this conversation every time, and it behooves me because what it is that culture is something else. A lot of times we tend to deviate from the culture that we know to be ours. It's indicative of who we are. It's what made us who we are. And what would you say? You know, what happens to the community when it sort of loses its touch with its stories? Because it breaks my heart, for example, and I'll go to the Jamaica because I'm Jamaican, but I go to Spanish-speaking people, French, and I say, oh, does your children know? Oh, no, they don't because they don't want to. And,
Yeah, they
and I'm
don't think in
thinking,
their
they don't
language,
have,
yeah.
in my household, if I had children, it would be a benevolent dictatorship. You're learning the language, the languages, and there's nothing else. If you don't want to speak it outside, that's fine. Speak it in the home.
That's
but
right.
you must learn our culture, our language.
Yeah.
They're so embarrassed because they don't want to go to school. And so we're losing that. What would you say to a parent right now who's saying they're struggling with that? They're on the fence. I don't want to,
You know
I
what?
mean, it's,
Sometimes, most times, by the time they get to college, when they are they see people with different identities. That's when they start to think about their own identity.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's when all of a sudden, Janelle, you know,
Yeah.
all of a sudden she was Jamaican.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when she
Yeah.
went to college.
Yeah.
You know, not Jamaican, which, you know, she does identify as Jamaican, but she went straight
Full-fledged Jamaican, of course,
and,
of course.
Yeah, and my daughter Jackie, she's doing a PhD at Emory in comparative lit. Do you know one of the classes she has taken? She has taken a class in Jamaican patois from the Jamaican language unit at UA Mona.
Yeah.
It is taught by an Anglican priest.
Oh, really?
And she is learning patois like learning a foreign language.
really?
Because that was the one thing I couldn't get them to learn, patois.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's so important because I have a
Really?
girlfriend who's Haitian, and I used to tell her when we were younger, teach the children. And she said, no, they're not interested. And now, just as you said, now they're full-fledged Haitian.
Exactly.
And they can speak it too.
Oh, so
yeah.
that's a plus.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
So, you know, and in this time, when people are trying to erase our history and our culture, grassroots programs like these are very important.
Yes, ma'am.
Come for us.
Yeah.
You want to come for our culture, you have another thing coming.
Talk it,
You know,
talk
so
it.
you might want to try to erase culture from books or from monuments or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, not us.
Okay,
We are
that's
not the
right.
ones, but we have to keep our culture going. One of my other passions is us telling our own stories, or else other people are going to come in and tell our stories
From their perspective.
From their
From their
perspective.
perspective.
That's
Sometimes
right.
straight up inaccurately.
Yes.
Correct.
You know?
Yes.
So we need to tell our own stories. Please, people, high dollar people anywhere in the Caribbean, support your local filmmakers. That's the
Yes.
only way films are going to get made. If it has to be, it has to be up to us.
Well, I think you've answered most of our questions without even asking, but that's a storyteller.
Yeah,
Thank
because you know what? Even with what we had, because we were at that same film recently, Claude McKay.
Yes,
So that,
yes.
You're gonna have to come on back in here because that was something worth seeing and
And-
worth telling. Can you just give a snippet because of time?
That was done by a French filmmaker because I didn't even know Claude McKay spent a great deal of time in Marseille, France. But
know that.
Claude McKay's story is personal for me. He's from James Hill, Clarendon.
Where our
My
parents are
mother
from.
is from James Hill, Clarendon. The same little hamlet that only thing went down. A few cars might go down there every now and then. It was mostly donkeys. And my mother was taught by Miss McKay, one of Claude McKay's family members. Claude McKay is from one little. There is, as far as I know, the only recognition in James Hill area for Claude McKay
It's a school
is a
or something,
school. And he is internationally known and recognized.
Oh, he was.
So I'm working on that.
Good.
I have my contacts on there. I'm working on it.
That's right.
Retirement is around the corner.
Yes.
I have my work cut out for me.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. I love it
Thank
because
you.
I like the fact that you mentioned that. So quickly, what else is going on that we, the folks
Oh,
need
the
to know?
kickoff ceremony for the 20th anniversary. That's going to be this Sunday at 3 o'clock at the DeKalb Conference Center, 495 Indian Creek Drive. It's going to be food, music, just celebrating.
time.
Yes, and the Caribbean countries in all of their glory. Little kids going to be flag bearers. I'm going to push these programs again, and we are going to have a fun time this Sunday at 3, where you'll hear about all these other programs. We have these unique programs in Georgia. Please support them. Other cities don't have them. Other countries don't have them. We are uniquely positioned.
Beautiful.
So the Anansi Festival in
Yes.
Atlanta. There's so much to
It's
unpack.
Caribbean story time.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
here's
my children grew up with that book.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
still
yeah.
have
That's a
it.
part
Oh,
of
yeah.
our culture. So,
Yes.
I'm going to get in some Anansi stories in the story
Of
time.
course.
Okay,
Tell
good.
the folks how they can get in touch with Monica Foderingham, because how can they find you? Where can they find
It's
you?
kind of here's the short answer. I'm going to give my phone number because 404-405-9188. But my email address and my organization is Diaspora Cultural Curators. So it's diasporaculturalcurators@gmail.com.
All right.
And if they missed it, all they have to do is like, subscribe, and share, and go back and check us out.
Yeah, and the information
2nd,
is also on the
2026.
flyers
Yes.
that were sent as well.
Yes. Of
course.
So we really want to thank you for this time that you spent with us. So much
I enjoyed
history,
myself.
so much, so much. We really asked the folks to come out to these events and
Please.
support.
And again, we thank our live audience for coming up and
Thank
just to
you.
support
Yes,
us. We really
and
appreciate
we've seen
you all.
there's going to be some connection going on.
there
We have
is.
someone who's really interested in community. Some of that that you said.
She's
She's
got a space over there, Simone. She's got Brewed Up right in Lilburn. It's
Wonderful
called
place to do
Brewed
a
Up.
workshop
Beautiful.
and do your story time
Okay,
as
yes.
well.
I'm always
Yes.
looking for venues. It was hard finding a venue this
Oh
year.
my
for
gosh!
some
Well,
reason.
well, you've got a venue over there.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
good.
we've got our known artist,
artist.
Mr.
Oh.
Ronald Sullivan, and his
Yes.
beautiful wife of over 50 years.
Wow.
Right? And they don't look a day over 50.
married as
but
teenager.
No, probably had to get mom and dad's permission. But we want to thank Keisha. Keisha came all the way to support. She came all the way from the other county, 40 minutes away, Newton County, right? Is that Rockdale County?
Rockdale.
Okay, we thank you all for coming in. They came from Johns Creek. I mean,
Johns
look,
Creek.
We're getting support from all over. So we
Thank
just
you all so
Thank you for
much.
We
continuing to
appreciate you.
support us.
Yes.
And so it's time to go.
Oh, it is.
And we had such a great time in our show.
did.
And we hope you folks did too. And we invite you to comment and make suggestions. Thank you to our guests once again, particularly Monica. And
Thank you
we
for having
also
me.
would like for you to come back next Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday, God willing,
Tuesday.
right here on YouTube, 7P to 7A. Until then,
No, we're here
7P to
7P. 8P.
7P to 7. You know I work nights. Yeah, I used to work nights, and that was just roll off your tongue. 7P to 7A. So, folks,
Yes, you know where to find
YouTube,
us.
7P to 8P. You know where to find us. Come on now.
Like
Join
and
us.
subscribe
Please
and
like,
share.
subscribe, and until
And-
then, keep speaking harmony
There you go. And
into
guess
your
what?
life.
You want to get Monica's information again? You better get to the podcast and check her out. Go back and watch it and share it. Love, like, get it together.
All
Monica,
right.
we thank you again.
Thank you for
What a
having me.
blessing.
It was so enjoyable.
Wow. But you know,
They talk about health, they talk about care, sharing tips, they got us without a care. Thank you for listening, you're the best. See you next week to keep the best. Together we learn, together we grow. Every lesson, every hour, we know. See you next week with new stories to tell. More wisdom, more smiles, we can't help but dwell. Thank you,